This movie is basically a dumbed down version of Triangle of Sadness for the American audience, but I really enjoyed it. So today we're going to be talking about Send Help. This is the new Sam Raimi film. Let's hear that log line, Daniel.
All right, here is the log line that I had pulled up. And okay, here we go. An employee and her insufferable boss become stranded on a deserted island, the only survivors of a plane crash. Here, they must overcome past grievances and work together to make it out alive.
What a fun ride this movie was. Hopefully you're watching this while it's still in theaters, so before we even get into the review, you should definitely go watch it, but we're going to break things down of, what works, maybe what doesn't work with this movie, what our thoughts are.
All right, guys, so let's talk about this movie and break it down. So first off, let's talk about acting and performances here. I think this is something that is a little bit out of the wheelhouse of what Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams have normally done. Maybe Dylan O'Brien has kind of done a role like this, but not really to this extent.
He's had a weird... Yeah, I mean, he has, weird films he does, performance-wise, but this one feels like he doesn't seem to play the jerk that often.
Yeah.
Which he does very excellently in this film.
And Rachel McAdams, I feel like this is one of the first films that she's ever kind of played, an older lady, and she's not really older, but she's, older compared
she's
to...
portrayed that way, for sure.
And
compared to Dylan O'Brien, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was actually very... I thought it was a pretty cool take on... I guess it was pretty cool for them to try out these new roles and really see it come to fruition, because you see it play out really well later down in the movie. I think a little bit it went overboard in the beginning, with the chicken salad on her face and things like that. I don't know, stuff. It seemed a little excessive on some points, but overall, I think that the performances were really well done.
I agree. I think they both seem to be having a lot of fun in these roles. I think she's having a blast. And then Dylan O'Brien, I think he's having a good time being an a-hole.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. I think it's a really fun role for both of them. Obviously, there's not a ton to dig their teeth into, I guess. They're not giving crazy performances. Yeah. But for what was required, I think they showed up to work, had a good time. And they had good chemistry, too, I think. Not in the romantic sense, but in the acting sense. I think they killed it.
Well, also, this movie kind of does, lend itself towards a cat and mouse style misery type movie. Where, it ends up being, the whole intro of her being, a survivor, enthusiast is really funny. But then, when it push comes to shove, at the end of it, you can tell, the huge fight for survival that Dylan O'Brien's having, while also kind of, trying to please your captor and things like that to keep him happy. And it was just, it was really cool. Kind of like what you said. There wasn't anything crazy deep or anything super, breaking or reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
But it was more of a fun journey rather than, something completely brand new.
Exactly. And I guess that kind of brings us to, what we think about the plot of this movie.
Yeah, the story, yeah.
And I think the story works 100%. It, like I said at the beginning, it does remind me a lot of Triangle of Sadness, kind of mixed with, what Daniel was saying, Misery.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of held captive here, in a sense. But the Triangle of Sadness aspect, them getting lost on this island, and the switching of power dynamics from, one person's in charge to where, the lowest person is in charge. It doesn't explore that theme very much, to be honest. It does a little, on the surface level, but not like Triangle of Sadness does. There is still, some of the, sickening moments that work really well in this movie. And they're played for comedy as well, so I guess that might get into pacing more. But the way the plot goes, and even the ending, which I don't 100% love the ending, it does feel like it's a good payoff overall. So I think it's, well written. It has a lot of the Sam Raimi stuff going for it, though, where it's he just thinks of an idea and he's I'm just gonna throw that in the movie. It doesn't matter if it's crazy or not. And there's so many little things where you're I just know that was just him being I have money, I could put whatever I want in this movie. And it works. I mean, because you kind of have that quirkiness even in stuff like Evil Dead, where there's some goofy humor moments that kind of affect the plot, where you're just not focused on the story anymore. And the same thing's even true for his Spider-Man movies, where there's random comedy and you're what in the world, dude?
Yeah.
But I appreciate it with this movie, and I'm glad he's kind of back to like a horror film-esque. I wouldn't say this is 100% a horror film, but kind of fits closer to that category in his previous films. But what did you think about the story on this one?
Yeah, for me, it kind of seemed like a very, very basic movie. To where it almost felt like an M. Night Shyamalan movie to me, to be honest. Like, it wasn't, like, incredibly scary, but there wasn't that much depth into it also, because the second we start to actually get into, like, the backstory of the characters, I don't know, their just backstory wasn't good enough for me. Like, the whole story with her and her husband, and
him and, like, his parents and
stuff. Like... I don't know. Maybe I liked his backstory a little bit more, but with her, it's almost like I just didn't care that much. Like, we got that she was a loser, but then her backstory seemed so random for me that I was just like, eh. And I think this movie works, but for me, the actual like setting up of everything, even like, hey, come on this trip with us. For me, this movie is a better character study than it is kind of like
a deep, crazy plot.
Yeah, and so it's something to me still seemed pretty shallow throughout the entire movie.
I will say, like, I know the setup is pretty stupid. Mm-hmm. It's also still a lot of fun, though. So even like the things that don't 100% work for me with this movie, I kind of still like. Just because it's such a good time. Like the way it's from a writing standpoint, like the jokes and the scares are executed. Perfectly. And like the thrilling moments and like violent moments. Sorry, I was just thinking about an eyeball scene.
There was an eyeball scene in this.
Yeah, everything is like paced really well from the writing standpoint, like how it's all put together. It's just very basic though. It's by the book.
Okay, but I want to tag you with something on this.
All right, let me hear it.
So for me, maybe I should wait for this on. Let me wait for this one on an emotional impact or like the overall.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's go into cinematography and visuals. To me, it actually the entire place felt like a Survivor set. I don't know why.
Which I think is intentional.
Yeah, but I don't know.
We know they're supposed to have Jeff be in this, right? Like, I guess they asked Jeff if he wanted to be in it, and they couldn't get it out scheduling wise.
Really? Oh, that's a bummer. That would have been really funny.
Yeah, that would have been
like
so
a mirage of them just seeing Jeff like on the island.
That'd be so good.
For me, cinematography and visual-wise, it definitely didn't, like, really have a crazy... I don't know, maybe nothing really stood out to me. There's very clear moments of bad CGI, and then there's very clear moments of, like, oh, this is really cool. Like,
CGI.
The POV of, like, the hog, or the POV of him. Like, we kind of get those POVs that are, it just, like, you're like, ugh. So I guess that does bring out something. But I wouldn't say that this, like, was crazy good visually.
No, it's not, like, over the top, like, this is the best visual feast of a movie I've ever seen. Yeah. But it does have, again, like, some of that Sam Raimi stuff where he plays with, like, weird, like, the POV shots. Yeah. Or, like, where she sees, like, she has, like, a dream hallucination of, like, a zombie kind of, like, creature. Yeah. And that felt so, like, classic Evil Dead vibes. Yeah. And then there's a few moments, like, at the beginning in the office where he does, like, a few weird, like, pans and, like, zoom in, or dolly in moments that are just, like, almost out of place in the movie because they don't do it as much as you think he would. Yeah. It's fun enough, though. It didn't really take me out. I think I enjoyed it for the most part, but it mostly basic, visually speaking. Yeah, so, okay, let's rewind a little bit. So, acting performances out of 5, what are you giving it the score? I think I'm going 4 for acting and performances. I'm going to go 4, yeah. Okay. Story writing, I'm going to go a solid 3. I'm going to give it a 4, because I think it's 100% by the books, and I think that's going to be a good thing. Yeah, I don't want to go halves on this, but I was thinking 3.5. So I am on the more 4 side than I am on the 2 side. Let's not go half, but that's fine. Okay. I see what you're saying, yeah. And then, so for cinematography and visuals, I'm going to go 2 there. It wasn't anything spectacular. I guess it's not bad, so maybe I'll go 3. I'm gonna go 3, just because I think it's so, like, the bar is so low for me these days that I'm like, this is actually really great, because we are describing a movie that's by the book 100%, but I loved it.
I will say the CGI in this movie is pretty god-awful.
It's rough.
It's not good.
The mountain aspect,
when they're on the like cliffside, and then the hog.
Plane looked fine.
The plane crash looked bad.
And the hog, they could have used a puppet or something and made it just look a little bit better. Although that scene was so funny that I didn't even care.
No, that scene was actually really, really funny. But when we see the hog up close, I was like, meh. So there's enough moment in there for me to be like, okay. Okay, so now, editing and pacing. What did we feel about the pace of this movie?
I think it's perfect. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I think the way it's all compiled with, we have a violent moment, we have some chill moments, he gets drugged, then we have some more chill, like all of it, like every time some kind of action happens, I'm like, it's right when I'm ready for something to happen, or like need something to happen to keep me engaged. Okay. Even the beginning of the movie, like the way the jokes are placed within the editing and within the scenes kept me engaged, whereas if it was just like this slow build-up, it kind of does have a slow build-up. But if it didn't have some of these like good jokes placed in from like her workplace bully, not even Dylan O'Brien, but like some of the other characters that are jerks, or like just like weird things happen, like randomly revealing that she has a bird, like all these like random things they kept inserting throughout the movie just kept me like constantly engaged. So I think it's like, honestly, I think it comes down to the editing, like what I enjoyed so much. I know you're an editor, so you're probably gonna have maybe a different take, but I thought the pacing was fantastic.
Wow. Okay. I have a completely opposite take here. I thought the editing was so bad. And it's more, not even the editing, but more so the pacing of it. Because the pacing, like, here, I'll explain it to you how. Multiple times, kind of exactly what you said, like, right when you needed something to build you up to keep you locked in, I needed it to keep going. And then it would just die down. So, for instance, when we are at the workplace, we're kind of getting everything, like, the establishing of, like, she's just a weird person. It jumps to her watching Survivor and then continuing to be weird. And that felt really random to me. And then we go back into the, like, the office, and then it feels normal again. A little bit of the pacing and, like, the dialogue. The dialogue was kind of boring at times, even when he's, like, talking, like, he's golfing and those different things. The pacing just seemed weird. And then we get to the island. I would say the beginning of this movie has really good pacing, decent pacing. And then once we're on the island till about the, like, when they are almost getting rescued, the pacing is just really bad to me. It's really, like, up and down, and it's just, like, I wanted it to keep going, and I guess more so building up to it. But for me, we just kept going back down to slow moments, and, like, there being, I guess maybe there's a story in that of, like, accepting, like, maybe we're stuck here for forever. But, like, I don't know. There's too many parts in this movie where it was dead, and I was just like, okay, what's going to happen? Where are we going? And then we'd get picked up, and I'm like, okay. And then it would, and then I was like, okay. So I got kind of thrown
I guess it's like different sensibilities.
Maybe.
Because I kind of like that it's like out of pocket with some of the random, like her watching Survivor after we just saw her being weird. I was like dying of laughter.
Yeah.
Like I was like almost out of my seat multiple times in this movie because it's just so random. But
the ending I thought was good pacing. Like by the time everything starts to crumble down, I was like, okay, here we go, we're buckled up. But I was hoping for more. It builds that
tension pretty well.
I was hoping for more, I guess. So if we could have thrown in a couple more instances, I would have actually liked it a lot more.
I will say, I guess my one complaint, if I had to make one about the pacing, or maybe even like this could be plot too, I guess, is the reveal of something she knows that's there that he doesn't know is there. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we knew that a little bit sooner. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I mean, because that reveal was huge. Yeah, and I thought it was decently placed, but I think if we had maybe a hint of that earlier, I mean, I kind of knew it was going to happen too, but I don't know. I think if they hinted at it way earlier, it would have been interesting to see. Like I guess maybe rewatching the movie, like seeing her intentions be, kind of more mischievous and more evil. She's not technically the good guy, and neither is he. But
Well, and that's
I think it would have make it a more complicated.
Is because once he finds out, then we get about like 3 minutes of exposition of like, well, this and this and then this and then these. Did you really think this?
No, we didn't need all that.
So yeah, if they could have even hinted at it a little bit more from the beginning, I think it would have been shown. Okay, so editing and pacing, I'm going 2.
I'm going to go 4.
4. Okay. Wow. And then let's go overall impact here. So overall impact, I think it's a really cool classic like study of the mind. So track with me real quick before I get to your side. She starts off as the weird, like, kind of boss that is like, or weird kind of like person and has a horrible boss, right? And then the entire movie now she's in her territory and surviving and whatnot. She's kind of top dog on the thing, but then she becomes exactly what he was to her, kind of. And then follow me here, at the end of the movie, she's like, spoilers if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to try to spoil everything here, but she's like, oh, I wrote this book, and she almost becomes like this narcissist that he was, because in order to do like all these things and have her big secret, like, there has to be some sort of level of narcissism. So it's almost like they not necessarily flip-flop, but she becomes exactly what she hated in him. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Like, in order to survive, you have to become the thing that you hate so much.
And survive and flourish, like, to be top dog, right? You have to become...
she had to be a bad person.
Exactly.
Essentially. Because, like, regardless, murder is not a good... Okay, spoiler alert. Regardless, murder's not a great thing.
Right.
I don't know if YouTube's going to demonetize, or we don't make money anyways. But, like, she does some pretty awful things. He's awful even while they're on the island still. Yeah. But he has, like, a sort of redemption arc and then backpedals so quick.
Yeah.
So I guess it just shows, like, no matter what, people are going to suck. Because it even hints at, like, some of the way she handled her husband is kind of a... I mean, you could say it's justifiable, but it's still wrong, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there's some interesting things there. So I agree with that. I think that's a good take.
Okay, so...
I do love the ending, though. Like, with the bird and the freaking car and, like, the golfing and, like, all of it was, like, chef's kiss. Like, sometimes you want a movie that's not going to, like, preach to you about morals and the bad guy's going to get what they deserve. Not actually, but, like, what we feel like they deserve.
Yeah, exactly.
It's satisfying.
Yeah, okay, so overall, I think for the impact, I'm going to go 4 here.
Out of what?
Out of 5.
4? Yeah. I'm going to go 4 also.
Okay, so what's our average now?
Again, Triangle of Sadness does a better job with this exact idea, 100%, with a very similar kind of take on things. Are we just adding up how many points we each have?
Do you not know how averages work?
No.
Oh my God, Carson.
No, I mean, like, am I averaging mine or yours?
Both of ours together. So, like, out of 5, we both give this.
Why am I averaging it?
You said you were going to. I think overall this movie for me gives a 3.
Overall, this out of what, 5?
Mm-hmm.
Overall, this probably gives me a 3.5, maybe a 4 if I was walking out of the theater.
Yeah, I would say I'm erring on the side of 4. Again, because I really did enjoy this in the theater.
It's so fun.
It's fun. It's like very much so. It's somewhat gruesome too, but it is a good time. Like, because there's a little bit of everything.
It's my second favorite movie I've seen this year.
Wow. Okay. Well,
we're only in February. But I've seen quite a few things in theaters. It's my second favorite movie I've seen this year.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, guys, that is Send Help. It is still in theaters if you want to go check it out. That is kind of our rough rundown of the movie, of what we thought and the different aspects that we look at for when we review movies. But let us know what you think. Did you like the visuals more than the actual story, or did you like the story more than you liked the overall impact? Let us know in the comments down below. And guys, do not forget that we are continuing to do these things. Movie of the month. So Send Help was our movie of the month for February.
Yep.
So we'll have another one next month. But next week, we are going to be doing Real versus Real. Carson's got a true story, based on a true story movie, that we're going to
Marty Supreme, baby.
Marty Supreme, that we're going to compare.
You heard it here first.
to the original story. Anyway, guys.
Quick shout out before you close. Danny Elfman did the score for Send Help. It's a great score. Love Danny Elfman here.
True.
Just going to throw it out there.
Anyway, guys, so that is going to do it. Follow us on all of our social media accounts, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Go like
Grindr.
and in our Grindr account, and then go share our podcast wherever you can get and listen to a podcast. But until then, we will see you next week. Be kind, rewind, peace.
Peace.